Character clash. Ready?
Round 1.
Physical skills.
This giant mechanical egg is so imposing it would make even the bravest of hedgehogs tremble. With its colossal size and hedgehog-proof strength, the Death Egg robot is an unstoppable behemoth, a walking fortress. Although, let's face it, its mobility is as graceful as an elephant in a china shop. Who needs agility when you can crush entire cities with a single step? Its raw strength would make up for any Pilates class Susan has ever taken. Robotnik would be proud. If only Dr. Eggman would tighten those screws, maybe he wouldn't be so vulnerable to a mere blue hedgehog. She might be a normal girl, but who needs protein supplements when you've got quantum falling on you? Our dear Susan, or should I say, the woman who grew so big she can no longer fit in any clothing store. Standing nearly 50 feet tall and with superhuman strength, Ginormica can lift gigantic objects and withstand nuclear attacks. Her strength is proportional to her size, meaning she could use the Golden Gate as a toothpick and use the Death Egg robot as a ping-pong ball. Ginormica is basically a walking skyscraper with an enviable hairdo. With strength proportional to her size, she could use the Death Egg robot as a ping-pong ball. Although, let's be honest, her coordination is sometimes as clumsy as an elephant on roller skates.
Round 2.
Combat skills.
This mechanical behemoth has more tricks up its sleeve than a magician in Las Vegas. Equipped with an arsenal that would make NASA green with envy, the Death Egg robot can fire missiles, drop bombs, and probably make espresso. This tough egg to crack is a combat machine designed by Dr. Robotnik himself, an evil genius who has apparently never heard of subtlety. Who needs to hide when you can blow up a mountain? With its homing missiles and ability to fire laser beams, the Death Egg robot is basically a walking discotheque of destruction. Its only weakness appears to be a little blue hedgehog with an attitude, which speaks volumes about the effectiveness of its design. Who needs strategy when you have an arsenal capable of making Michael Bay blush? It's a battle titan, yes, but creativity in combat is not its strong suit. Its attacks, as devastating as they are predictable, relying on brute force rather than real strategy. A running joke among villains is that Eggman makes big robots, but with little flexibility. However, his size makes him an easy target. Although he still can't beat a supersonic hedgehog. Priorities, Doctor, priorities. Ginormica, the girl who went from runaway bride to XXXL-sized heroine. Her combat skills are as refined as an elephant in a china shop, China, but hey, when you're the size of a building, who needs technique? Her main strategy seems to be stomp hard and hope for the best. But what she lacks in subtlety she makes up for in enthusiasm and an innate ability to cause accidental destruction. Though she has no formal combat training, her size and strength give her a considerable advantage. Plus, her ability to change size allows her to be stealthier than she looks. She may not have a high-tech arsenal, but who needs missiles when you can use cars as projectiles? Her combat technique is basically smash first, ask questions later. And, who needs training when you can just sit on your enemies?
Round 3.
Survival skills.
Ah, the Death Egg robot, the engineering masterpiece that could probably survive a power outage. Reinforced with extremely durable armor and a design meant to take constant hits, this robot could survive massive explosions. However, in less obvious situations, like falling into water or facing its own shadow, it might not fare so well. Its durability is legendary, able to withstand Sonic's most ferocious attacks, but let's put it in a natural environment and see what happens. Water? Short circuit. Sand? Jammed gears. Food? Surviving in the wild isn't exactly this giant sardine can's forte. Its idea of hunting involves raising entire forests in search of a squirrel. It doesn't need food or water, which is a plus, but its reliance on power leaves it more vulnerable than a dead smartphone in the middle of nowhere. Well, unless it can digest nuts and bolts, we're in trouble. Its survival depends entirely on Robotnik's ability to find a power outlet in the midst of the apocalypse. At the very least, it could serve as a makeshift shelter from acid rain. With its tough armor and ability to generate force fields, the Death Egg robot can withstand a great deal of damage. But what happens if it runs out of power? Maybe he should consider installing solar panels. Oh wait, that would require Robotnik to think green for once. In terms of survival, she has one distinct advantage: she can see over trees to locate resources. Her size allows her to cover vast distances in just a few steps, though she'll likely leave a trail of footprints the size of Olympic-sized swimming pools. Ginormica's ability to withstand physical attacks and extreme situations is beyond dispute. However, her human side and need for air put her at a disadvantage compared to a tireless war machine. She can eat trees like they're broccoli and drink from entire lakes. Her heightened stamina allows her to withstand extreme conditions, though finding a place to sleep comfortably remains a challenge. Did someone say football stadium-sized mattress? Her biggest problem would be staying unnoticed, because nothing says "here I am" like a nearly 50-foot-tall woman. At least she doesn't have to worry about predators, unless King Kong is visiting.
Round 4.
Unprepared.
With its size and strength, this mechanical Kinder Surprise egg could instantly wreak havoc. It doesn't need warming up, stretching, or a cup of coffee to function at 100%. Its automatic defense systems would kick in faster than a teenager closing tabs when his mother walks into the room. Although, knowing Robotnik's luck, it would probably run out of battery right at the crucial moment or trip over its own robotic feet. Imagine you're calmly destroying Green Hill Zone and suddenly you come across a giant woman. The Death Egg robot, in its initial confusion, would probably try to process whether Ginormica is a new model of overdeveloped badnik. Its automatic response would be to unleash its entire arsenal against her, turning the battlefield into a deadly fireworks display. However, its lack of adaptability could be its downfall. If Ginormica manages to get close enough, the robot could end up as a giant scrambled egg. But its lack of agility could be its downfall. Who would have thought that eye-foot coordination would be a problem for a machine? Shocked by a giant robotic egg, Ginormica would probably think it was an elaborate prank by her fellow monsters. Her initial reaction would be a mix of confusion and her trademark naive enthusiasm. Is this a new government toy? She would wonder as she clumsily dodges the missiles. Her advantage lies in her improvisational ability and superhuman stamina. As the fight progresses, Ginormica might find creative ways to use her surroundings, such as throwing entire buildings at the Death Egg robot or simply trying to sit on it. Not requiring elaborate preparation to face an opponent, Ginormica jumps right into combat with the audacity of someone who has fought aliens.
Round 5.
With preparation.
Given time to prepare, the Death Egg robot would become every giant woman's nightmare. Susan, in her infinite wisdom, would likely equip the robot with all sorts of ridiculous gadgets. Giant nets? Check. Shrink rays? Sure. A speaker that plays its no use on a loop to demoralize the enemy? Absolutely. Even a self-destruct system because, why not? The Death Egg robot would show up to combat like a deadly Christmas tree, overloaded with weapons and with a plan so complex that not even Robotnik could explain it without a 50-slide PowerPoint. Preparation would include studying all of Susan's weak points, though knowing Robotnik, he'd end up building a trap for Sonic out of sheer habit. Old habits never die, especially if they're obsessions. Given time to prepare, Ginormica would probably spend half her time trying to find a combat suit that fit her and the other half trying to convince her monster friends that she doesn't need their help. Her preparation would include a crash course in how to smash giant robots without destroying entire cities, courtesy of General W.R. Munger. She'd improvise armor out of skyscrapers, use bridge cables as whips, and probably find a way to use her size to strategic advantage. Her training with the monster team would give her combat tactics against unconventional enemies. Plus, her determination to protect the innocent would make her unstoppable. Mind you, her biggest preparation would be mental, convincing herself that it's okay to smash a giant robot without feeling guilty. Giant Therapy 101. Her secret weapon, a charming smile and the ability to make even mass destruction seem adorable.
Round 6.
General data.
Death Egg Robot. Physical skills 6. Combat skills 9. Survival skills 6. Unprepared 7. With preparation 8. Total 36. Ginormica, Susan Murphy. Physical skills 8. Combat skills 6. Survival skills 8. Unprepared 7. With preparation 9. Total 38.
Final round.
Conclusion.
In this titanic battle between metal and flesh, lots of flesh, Susan Murphy / Ginormica emerges victorious by a hair, or rather, by 3 feet. Though the Death Egg robot has a clear advantage in firepower and combat capabilities, Susan's versatility, resilience, adaptability, and pure heart tip the scales in her favor. Her ability to change size and near invulnerability to physical and energy attacks give her a significant advantage. Her size allows her to match the robot's brute strength, while her human intelligence and empathy give her a strategic edge that none of Robotnik's AI programs can match. Susan's ability to improvise and her determination to protect the innocent make her an unstoppable force. Plus, her experience fighting off alien and robotic threats with the monster team gives her a tactical advantage. While the Death Egg robot follows programmed patterns, Susan can think outside the box, or in this case, outside the egg. In the end, Susan's humanity, combined with her superhuman power, triumphs over the cold logic and programmed destruction of the Death Egg robot. It's a reminder that in the world of superheroes and supervillains, sometimes the biggest heart, literally in this case, is the one that wins. And so, friends, we learned that in the battle between a robotic egg and a giant woman, the omelet goes to the one with the most height and the least circuitry. Who knew breakfast could be so epic? And as Ginormica would say at the end of the battle, there's no jar in this world that I can't open.
Unbelievable!
I hope I at least entertained you. Do you agree with the result? And if not, tell me why. If you like this video, please subscribe, like and share.